All right, welcome back, everybody. This is Bonus Behind the Screen, episode 16. We are here. I got Chuck, Swains, and Christy, and we're going to cover... What are we covering tonight, guys?
Let me pull it up here.
I think it's episode 60...
64 through 69.
64. I don't even remember.
Sexy number.
What happened in 64?
64 was Last of the Royal Guard.
Oh, wow. It's been that long since we did a BTS, huh?
Yeah, back on
Last of the
320.
Royal Guard?
About a month ago.
Damn. Last of the Royal Guard. Those were the ghouls that were outside of Rosni's, that were guarding
Fucked up Zavril.
Yeah.
Hey, watch out for the ghouls. I'm going to run in between two ghouls now.
That's right. He provoked attacks of opportunity, got his ass paralyzed right out the bat, fell to the ground.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember that because I was unconscious most of the time.
Yeah, there was a little bit of pushback against the prone, if I remember right, being paralyzed. And I don't think I would have done that if he didn't get critted by that other ghoul.
I disagree.
You don't think so?
I think if you get paralyzed, you're automatically prone. I think it's very unlikely that you'd be in a position where you're still standing if you got paralyzed.
It's a good conversation.
Paralyzed, yes. Petrified or some shit, no. If you get petrified,
you stand
you
up.
could even be at like a weird angle. Right, but I think paralyzed, you and then you fall over.
Yeah.
I can see it both ways, honestly.
Yeah, well, there'd definitely be positions you could be in where perhaps there'd be enough stability in that stance that you wouldn't fall over. But most of the time...
Yeah.
But most of the time you're standing in a stance that you're not going to fall over it as long as your muscles aren't relaxed.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, so I can see that, but he did get critted by the other ghoul, which would have, I think, taken him out of that.
So these ghouls, how many? I don't even
4.
remember.
There was 4 ghouls, 2
ghouls.
on each side of the throne. They were pretty much dormant.
Oh, this was the throne room because Rossi was in that secret chamber.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Wasn't anything special. I think you guys would have easily wiped the floor with him. I was trying not to get too hung up on such a low CR fight.
Was that a whole episode?
Pretty much. So we did kind of get hung up on it. But
not hard to do in combat.
It's not hard to do. And that was a long stretch of combats.
There may have been a flashback there or a flash around.
Yeah, with Quincy, yep.
Finding the Krugen sphere.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that might happen right around there.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, because there's no way that ghoul incident would have taken the whole episode.
Right.
Ooh, he beat Copernicus to the Krugen sphere.
Yeah, dude.
Right?
That was awesome.
What was it like for you, Swains? You know, because you were, we did this all, sitting at the table. What was, how were you feeling as Quincy discovered?
I was just nervous, really, of how shit is going to play out, Like, if Quincy and Cappy were going to, fight or what was going to happen.
And in turn... Quincy and Cappy fighting in turn might split the group. If Zavril went in one direction, siding on it, and Irame another, it could have split the group, not just the two characters.
I think Zavril would have gone with Quincy.
For sure.
I think for sure, yeah. Irame would have had that would have been really tough for Irame.
Why don't we settle? Where would Irame go in that hypothetical situation?
I
think she would have been conflicted, but I think you would have gone with them too in the end.
No, I think I would have. I actually disagree. I think I would have been conflicted and then stood with Cappy.
Okay, I think I probably would have rolled a die to decide something like that.
I see them. They're both like Elven.
Yeah.
So we've got that bond going.
Well, and also.
Yeah, but you're a drow.
Throughout the whole story, though, Irame has been less worried about Sybil. She's been more accepting of Sybil. And I think just Irame's nature, maybe it's the wild magic, maybe, whatever it is. She didn't fear Sybil or Copernicus's intentions from the very beginning, really.
Well, you weren't sleeping beautied by Sybil.
True.
The way Quincy was.
Yes, that is true.
Oh yeah, right from the get-go.
So could Quincy have destroyed the Krugen sphere? That piece of it?
I
didn't even consider it at the moment.
Right. I think with I think under certain circumstances, all magic, it was a magical item, and it definitely could have been destroyed. I think there's no telling what would have happened if you tried conventional means of destruction, but
you wouldn't have even really needed to destroy it. You would have just needed to hide it.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
whenever you hide something like that, it'll come up.
Yeah. Especially
it'll
with
resurface.
Yeah.
So then from there, I think we're going to get more, I think because of the nature of things, and we're going to talk about the story of the Krugen Sphere later on in full, we can probably cover the flashbacks and everything in there in that section. I think we should go right into Roz and Nasi's conversation.
Nasi.
Yeah. So you guys going in there, what you guys were going in there probably expecting a fight. Maybe not,
Yeah.
I thought we were going to fight.
Yeah, I mean, I
wasn't 100% convinced. I had like a 50-50.
Irme, because of her visions and the piece of cloth, was slowly piecing things together that perhaps he was suffering from the death curse, and seeing him confirmed it for her. But she wasn't exactly sure what to expect. She suspected that, but...
So she at least knew that would be it could potentially be somewhat of a bargaining chip for
absolutely,
for
yeah.
negotiation.
And she thought that upon entering the Fane in general.
Well, and we were also spent. We had spent like 5-6 episodes in a row fighting, and we, as a group, had nothing left.
Right.
That's why I thought it was going to be a dialogue. We're not.
We need to talk to this guy, or we're going to die.
Right.
But you don't bargain with Ross and Nasi. He
absolutely.
plays you.
Yeah. So
we let ourselves get played.
Because up to this point, he's always won in those situations.
I mean, this dude's hundreds of years old. Right?
Yeah, we absolutely had to present a win-win situation for him. We couldn't present him with anything he'd have to compromise on necessarily.
And he's still out there. I mean, you guys made it out without a fight under the pretense where he learned of the death curse, and you did reveal that, to your knowledge, the origin of the death curse was what he was protecting, the entrance to the Tomb of the Nine Gods. So he lets you through, essentially.
That's going to benefit him if we can solve this.
Yeah, because he was clearly deteriorating at that point. From there...
Kind of wish we would have killed him.
I kind of wish we would have known whose bidding he had been doing.
Oh, yeah.
That was very difficult for me. I didn't know how to do it without possibly causing like a situation that went well to go wrong.
That's right.
That was really... I actually thought that conversation went horrible until I listened to it again. And I was like, okay, that wasn't as bad.
That's actually a good point, and I'm glad you mentioned it.
Can you tell us? Can you tell us?
No, I actually wanted to bring up that whole situation where after that conversation ended, you guys as players just going back and forth trying to figure out a correct way of being careful trying to ask that question, and ultimately you didn't ask. You gave up, and I just thought that was that's an interesting experience, I think, at a D&D table, playing a game, right? I mean, it was like you guys were outside of the principal's office or something like that, trying to fucking figure out what to say. and then ultimately in the end, the fear beat you, right? That's what it boiled down to. The fear beat you, and you walked away. That was interesting to me.
It was not only was I like, I don't want this situation to go wrong after it went well, but it was also like, I didn't know how to phrase the question in the situation we were in. Like, we're just standing there, and he's this great and powerful being, and all of a sudden, Irame's like, who do you work for?
It was after Svitlongi almost got him to, like, attack us with the shields on the wall, too.
Yeah.
You were talking shit to him.
Yeah, the shield started vibrating. Yeah, so it was an intimidating moment. I mean, I think as far as that went, like, you guys as players internally failed, or you know what I mean? He passed his intimidation check on you guys. Like,
well, it doesn't get much better leaving from there either with the slave pen.
Yeah, I thought the slave pen was better theatrics or better
drama
than the conversation with Rossi C was.
Svitlongi's kind of a jerk.
You think so?
Going back listening, you're totally calling Irame out.
What else was she supposed to do?
Let these slaves go for your own vanity. Just like
I thought that was fun.
I thought it was great.
That was great. That was a great role playing moment.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you look at it from Svitlongi's standpoint, I mean, in her mind, she's returning to a new Fane without Rossi C, and that Fane still has these slaves. You know, that isn't really going to change. So she was protecting what was rightfully hers, her, belonging to the Yuan-Ti anyway.
Yeah, and I think how she sees Irame kind of, that was really honest. I mean, I think that was how Svitlongi sees Irame.
Yeah, I think that conversation went really well. I think it was a good opportunity, being that Svitlongi was a newer character, to showcase what her personality was like, and what we've seen so far, and from that moment on, has been that she is kind of she likes to take leadership roles.
Yeah, we haven't really talked much about where you came up with her.
Svitlongi?
Yeah, how long has she been kicking around?
She's been around, I think we talked about it. Did we talk about it with the last BTS?
I don't recall. So. You
She's
have like a plethora of characters hanging around.
I do have a plethora. She's been around since the original party had entered Taguda Village.
Yeah, Separate and Annihilate, she was there.
So the first episode she appeared in was when Zavril had been captured.
Well, yeah, we did talk about that.
Yeah, I feel like we did talk about this.
However, I had been communicating with Jay, and I had rolled the Yuan-Ti way back when we entered Taguda Village.
Yeah, I do remember you actually saying this now.
I was like, those are cool. I want to make one.
Yeah, so from there, I think we went right to the heart of Uptao.
Well, we went back to the hideout, and what's the red wizard chick, the half old, half young face?
Oh yeah, that's right, Zagmira.
Zagmira comes in all bloody, beat the shit.
That's right, the red wizards. Yep, their assault had failed. Well, I don't know if I'd say it failed, but they had held out.
Puzzle cube, yeah.
They suffered severe losses. Yeah,
that was a cool moment because of that. It was like they suffered severe losses so that we could move forward. It was like the
bad guys essentially were the good guys in that moment. You know?
Enemy of my enemy. But yeah, then we head right over to the heart of Uptao and back to Nine Zaru. It happened so quick. I was very uneasy about it as a player, like the cubes being left back in Omu.
And with why can't I ever remember her name? The necromancers.
Oh, Valindra.
And with Valindra too, of all people.
Well, yeah, you guys went to the heart of Uptao, and Valindra was there. Because there was that question, because she could be there, she could not be there, but she was there. And then she says that she's going to go with you guys, right? And we talked a little bit about it at the table. It's that's always an awkward thing. You got to see Wesson. He was in his body anyway, was in stasis.
I picture it just like Luke Skywalker in Empire Strikes Back.
Oh yeah,
when he gets attacked on Hoth, and they bring him back in from the cold, and he's in that tank.
Yeah. So, and then from there, back to Nyan Zaru. The place was bustling. What did you guys think about that? I mean, the place obviously was advancing
rapidly.
And by the place, you mean the whole city or the 3 C's shipping and freight?
Both, really. There was adventures all over the streets. Remember, they were, And
timeline-wise, would it have been like a month before we...
Just about.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, because we come back to the church, or, Zatembe's place in the Neat, and they had been, like, talking us up. She'd been creeping on us with her little walkie-talkie.
Divinity magic, Yeah, that was, the Temple of, I think, Savris.
Oh, remember you had lost your notes that night? You remember? So you won.
Oh,
You
yeah.
did all that
That
on
is a
memory.
thing to notice, yeah.
Yeah.
I was wondering if there was anything you really missed there. You know, once you finally found your notes again, or
Yeah, I did recover. So I was using, what ended up happening is I was using Fantasy Grounds on cloud against all recommendations, I know. You know, because you go on forums and shit and you see people ask, like, can I use this on cloud? And everyone's like, don't do it. But I'm like, what the fuck? I got 3 different computers that I work on throughout the week, and it's just that much more convenient for me to access it from these different places and work on it. But that night I had accidentally had 2 copies open because my laptop, it was still loaded. So I opened it up and the old one was loaded, and when I exited it, it saved over the one that I had been working on. So yeah, I lost everything that night, but then we were able to find a recovery file and a backup, and I did restore it like a couple days later. And I think the only things, there was a lot missing, but it was just more so in the details. It was more so, minor details. But yeah, winging it that night was definitely rough. I was going in. I started that night pretty fucking pissed off.
yeah, we got a late start and everything. We managed.
Yeah,
we made it through.
Yeah, I made it through, and it sounded good. It came out good, I think, anyway.
So in that episode, we went back to the 3C shipping and freight, met up with Devitas again, and Petrie was missing the whole time.
That's right.
I caught that on the re-listen.
Yeah.
Petrie wasn't there.
Petrie! I kept saying, where is he? God damn it.
Yeah, that's right. Good observation. Yeah, he
like Mickey looking for Muzzy.
Yeah, or Ricky.
Fucking Ricky. He's probably out by the dumpster eating brownies.
We got to get Ricky over for a game night one of these nights.
So wait, did anything else happen when we returned to the temple with the neat and
the poison?
The midnight poison.
The midnight poison kicked in.
Yep. And I think that there wasn't really much in the way of mystery there. You guys kind of pegged it. Bag of Nails poisoned you. As to why
fucker.
He's a fucking...
Yeah, he's going to get his one
I
of these
know,
days.
he is.
For all intents and purposes, where you guys left him, he's still in Omu, right?
Oh, yeah.
Still fucking hunting, lurking around, his senile old
you
bag
think,
of bullshit.
You think you
his ass.
encountered like a cool, honorable character. Dude, it's like being at a festival when you think you meet some nice people and then everything's missing from your fucking tent. And you're like,
yeah.
Damn.
So then we dealt with the bag of nails poison. We were back at the 3Cs. Petrie was missing.
Well, he didn't go missing.
He just wasn't there.
He just wasn't there. Right.
Yeah.
And but there was a whole bunch of other employees. There was a whole bunch of other adventurers, travelers.
There was a quest board set up. I mean, 3C shipping was on fire.
The sign was
in
fixed.
a dorm.
Yep.
Yeah, there was a dorm.
Yeah, they had a whole separate sleeping bunks. I don't know.
Quarters,
what you call it,
barracks.
It looked like Devitas was going to be shipped out sooner than later.
That's what he was fearing. Yeah. Because that's
he's the guy that goes up to get shit running and then they move him.
Yeah.
Hopefully not before we can get Danny DeVito here for an episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
We need to get him on a BTS just see how he,
likes our rendition of him.
just get his perspective on the adventure so far.
He wouldn't even need to come. He would just have to record a clip of him eating a fucking apple.
YouTube video of Danny DeVito eating an apple.
Just fucking it says a couple lines while he's fucking crunching into it.
We could try to get him to say Petrie.
Yeah, Petrie. So from there, he's the one that tells you that Alarad is in town, because up to that point you didn't know. I'm not, I don't know what you guys were expecting as far as going back. What were you expecting? What kind of faces were you? Obviously Syndra, Wakanga, possibly Saven. Was Alarad even on the
No,
on
I
that
didn't.
list?
I didn't think we'd see Alarad ever again. It was cool to.
I
Bring
thought
him
about
full
him a
circle
few
a little
times,
bit.
but I definitely didn't expect him to be there.
Yeah, and then so then we go right to the meeting.
We stop at the gentleman.
The gentleman.
That's where that episode ends. But yeah, pretty much. Nothing really exciting happens there.
At the Gentlemist.
Yeah, no, we did have a good little bit of role playing, but we pretty much breezed through that, and we head up to the.
Yeah, we ended the night on a nice calm role play tone there.
So it was Progress Has a Price, and then episode 67, A City on the Rise.
Yeah,
so I think we've already
that was the.
I think that's where we are now.
That's where we are now, City on the Rise. Yeah, and that was Nine Zaru's booming economy and all that.
I think in general, though, when we were in Nyan Zaru, we felt rushed because we knew we had the puzzle cubes waiting for us.
Yeah, that was a difficult thing, being back in Nyan Zaru while our adventure was on pause in the jungle.
Yeah. But it wasn't on pause because that's what Chuck's saying is Valindra was there with the. I mean, it was certainly far from pause. You had to move, and you had that nagging. Well,
essentially, we were there for one night.
Yeah,
right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they knew they couldn't pause, so they started exploring and trying to figure shit out.
Yeah, I think you guys. Yeah, I think it was 2 nights total. And then you went to Wakanga's villa, met up with the whole group was meeting. It's almost as if they were expecting you, which wasn't that much of a surprise because of what Devitas said about Anit. She'd kind of been following you guys' exploits, and
you could almost start the show at this moment, like if you were.
Oh, you mean an adventure?
Right.
Like the campaign begins here?
Right there.
Absolutely.
This group walking in, and you have all the pieces there you need to start the campaign.
So about that, the Krugen sphere, this is when that kind of becomes the focal point. Right. Saving, obviously, that whole storytelling, you guys catch everybody up on what's going on, but then it becomes, with Master Triss, from Quincy's perspective, what...
He did not expect to see Master Triss in Nyan Zaru at all.
Yeah, and...
Well, let's back here a little bit. Didn't, at one point, me and Chuck both threw you some, ideas. Now... Was this your idea, any of this that he used, or did you pull from both of us a little?
Yeah, you guys had sent me ideas, and I did pull...
Because what happened was I wasn't expecting at all.
Yeah, there was a couple alternate endings that you guys had sent me, and I certainly... I wanted... You know what it was? And they were great. Well, I did because...
Can you summarize, real quick, what your...
mine was the good Sybil. Yeah. So I guess you did kind of use that, but So it was really kind of in depth. If I start going into it, it was like Cappy was working for the Harpers the whole time, or something. Like Frankie Fingers was actually working for the Harpers. Okay. So Cappy, your uncle, grandfather. We weren't thieves or whatever. That was just a front. And so he got Cappy in connection with Master Triss, who was sending Cappy on this to get the Krugen Sphere, to get Sybil, and your map. So it's kind of like Cappy knew all along, kind of thing.
Ah, interesting.
It was something in that vein. I don't remember exactly how I had it.
Yeah, I think for what I had sent Jay was something like, let's see, it was that Sybil and Master Triss were actually enemies.
Ah.
And he was the one that imprisoned her.
Okay.
And that he knew that there was sort of a race for the Krugen Sphere, and he had laid some kind of a spell, like a Gaius. I don't know how to pronounce it, but like
Gaius?
that spell that sends people off on quests, So he laid one of those on Quincy to go fetch it.
So you have to do it.
Yeah.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah. So I certainly pulled. Ultimately, my decision was I wanted both of you to be surprised in the end. I didn't want you to expect. I didn't want anybody to know what was unfolding here exactly. So I did pull some influence. Instead of making them enemies, I went opposite, made them lovers. The Harpers, I made Triss belong to the Harpers instead.
And you had it so they had whispered loud enough for the Zentarum to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of cool. Though I never specifically had like in my head that Cappy worked for the Zentarum. I just said a thieves guild. But I guess it kind of makes sense. It
wasn't. I didn't. I wouldn't do that. I actually put Clem working for the Zentarum. That's what it was, yeah. So, and that was kind of
us all back to the old Clem story.
Old Clementine.
Clementine, my Christian name. I gotta say it every time I hear it. But yeah, and that's pretty much where that kind of all unfolded. Now you guys sent me that months ago.
Oh yeah, when did we first actually hear about the Krugensphere? Was that
Krugensphere? I bring up what in like episode 4, Night All 15. Yeah. I think it was episode 3 or 4.
Huh. Yeah, so it's been a long running arc, over a year.
Yeah.
But you guys sent me those ideas a little ways into it.
Oh, yeah. A little ways, but it was still like...
It was still a long time ago.
Over 6... No, it was like last summer, probably.
Yeah, it could have been.
So we're talking like 9-10 months ago.
Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, so, yep. And then that happened. And then with Triss kind of... And then bringing Irame's story into it with the Chalice and all of that, I kind of brought in... I kind of tied it to Triss's game, right? Because he's obviously running the show here. And the way I've always envisioned Irame's origin from the Chalice is that, and her wild magic, is that it kind of like floats around her, at all times, rather than kind of within her. She obviously has, she is elven and she is a sorcerer, so she does have magic within her. But the Chalice, the episode of the Chalice, I think it goes beyond that. So Master Triss using that as kind of like a catalyst to kind of just make all the other pieces fit and moving forward with it.
Now, on the playback, the one thing I didn't quite fully understand was Zavril. Because Master Triss looks at Zavril at one point and he's like, I don't understand where you fit into all this. But then you give Zavril like a flash.
Yeah, and that is kind of what I was just going by. That was kind of Irame's, that was kind of the Chalice at work, So it was broad daylight. The store, the publishing office should have been open, but the guy was drunk and on the freak day, he was drunk and didn't open in time. Zavril had missed that opportunity to publish his book, and in turn, he made the deal with Alarad to publish his book, which brought him, which brings him into the fold. So yeah, I know it was obscure, but honestly, I didn't have, when it comes to Zavril, there's a lot of. He's probably our more obscure character of the bunch,
K-Way's the more obscure character of the bunch.
Yeah, so what Christy was just saying is that, at that time, Irame was talking to Alarad. That's where she probably first met Alarad, So her magic, the influence of it was prevalent. Either way, Zaves is an obscure character. We'll move on from it. Yeah, so does anyone have anything to add about that before moving on to the actual reassembly of the Krugensphere? You had the Mesirow story. You learned a little bit more details about the Beret and Sibylla.
Where'd the Beret come from? Did you make them up, or did you pull that from somewhere?
No, the Beret are actually chosen immortal defenders of Mesirow, chosen by Uptau.
So it's part of the TOA lore?
Yes, it is part of the TOA source material. I altered that whole storyline. So
yeah, because you have like Artist Cimber and his flashback there and everything. So
yeah, that's right. So pretty much Artist Cimber is a Harper, and he is tied to the city of that whole story, the Mesirow story. See, Artist falls in love with a Beret who got spirited away. The way it's written in the book, got spirited away with the city, right? It wasn't the Krugensphere that spirited the city away. It was just the Beret. They all, it was just a ritual that they did in the last minute
tie-in.
to cover it up. they left in its place just a ruined, not an illusion, but, a ruined city that looks like Mesirow. But really the entire city of Mesirow was, and only Artis Cimber knows about it, and he wouldn't dare tell anybody in fear that, because he's waiting. That's why he's in Chult right now. He's waiting for his lover to return, the city of Mesirow to return. So that story's still open now that Triss told you guys about the story of Mesirow. Triss now might be at odds with Artis for betraying that secret, So that's kind of still out there.
Triss just going around pissing everybody off.
Yeah, and that was pretty much it. That's the story of Mesirow as it was written, and instead as we integrated it with the Copernicus's story and really everybody's story to some degree. And then we go into the reconstruction of the ritual, and I think that's where we leave off.
Episode 69, which that's the one that just came out.
Yeah, episode 69, the ritual. Now, what do you guys think about that whole ordeal? I know there wasn't much in the way of interacting or anything like that, but I wanted it to be I didn't want to just say, you guys did a ritual and this is what happened. I think it was the whole story, your whole... I
thought it was pretty intense.
Yeah. I wanted your whole story arc to end in something like that, not just a fucking hand wave kind of thing. I wanted it to be a scene,
Yeah, and we were seeing Sybil and Sibelia. We were kind of seeing this thing unfold. We were seeing the entities behind it unfold, and we had some familiar themes with the what was the spice or flower, the herb?
Oh, the lilac.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Because Triss had used that. Because Triss knew that was obviously a bond that they shared in life. And
right.
Prior to this whole ordeal, he knew that lilac was her favorite flower or something.
So this whole time, though, Cappy's patron is this Day Nocturne. So that's what we learned, though.
Yeah, I foreshadowed. I didn't really I at least placed the pieces back in Quincy's vision in the basement in Omu. The way I described Sibelia is she had that black longsword by her side. That longsword was actually a sentient weapon.
Oh, see, I missed that.
I only described it as a jet black longsword, thin longsword. I didn't go into any sentient or anything like that. But that weapon itself is a sentient weapon, and during the event, because she was attuned to it, they kind of bonded together, and spending 100 years in the Shadowfell together with that sentient weapon, which is an evil weapon.
So the city of Mesirow, though, is not in the Shadowfell.
No.
Sybil got sucked into there.
Yeah.
Or Sibelia.
Right, because of Day Nocturne, that sentient weapon was an evil weapon. So,
and that was the cause of how she manifested so creepily while she was communicating with.
Right. So if you almost think about it, Sibelia was, I guess you could even say, possessed by Day Nocturne in a sense, where they were, and Day Nocturne had won that battle. So
now Cappy has this weapon. Nice.
Yeah, and that was I think the cliffhanger for that episode was Copernicus had mentioned your pact with Sibelia, still having a pact. It could have been the time before, the episode before. I left one of the cliffhangers as that, and he was like, your pact isn't with Sibelia.
Right, I think it was that episode, 69.
I think it was 68, this last one. Or the one before this last one, 68. It was you guys still. It was before the ritual.
68. The ritual hasn't started because it's.
That's what I'm saying.
We're gonna find out tomorrow.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So, but that conversation between Copernicus and Triss happened before the ritual.
Right.
That's where it ended.
Oh, okay.
68. Yeah. So that's where that was revealed, where there was two entities, not just Sibelia. There was something else in there. Right.
So not being a warlock or having ever played a warlock, did getting that pact weapon Is this like a milestone for Copernicus?
I guess, but it's not like written into like Warlock that this happens.
So it's not a mechanical. It's just more like the change, the way that it plays out, or the manifestation.
I think most people playing a Warlock, they would have like started with this weapon.
Yeah.
Whereas we're creating this story going along, we kind of worked our way into it. He had a packed weapon the whole time before, but now he's got the real
deal.
Yeah, that's
with like spell slots, and it has like an extra spell slot in it or something. Like it's a magic.
A 3rd level spell slot, and now I'm +8 to hit, +8 to damage. Before I was
so
+7.
it's an upgrade. The way I did that is it was a reward. I wanted you guys have at this point should have had more magic items. Not should have, but going into the tomb, I wanted to give you guys magical items or magic, whatever. And at the same time, I was also drawing on like an epic weapons quest in EverQuest or something like that, where you get like a specific class weapon for completing this fucking wicked long quest,
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I went with it. And it made sense too, because it was, I think the type of warlock you were, kind of brings it all in. So
I'm gonna miss Sybil though. She was great. Well, I guess I don't know how Day Nocturne will be, or
it's true.
What that'll manifest as now, I guess.
Yeah. Because I think in the end of 69, Day Nocturne was communicating with you in the series of images.
That's right. It was the mouth, the wife being eaten by the mouth, and everything. Yeah. We're gonna have fun with this.
Yeah. Good times.
If you don't freaking kill Cappy on the first room of the tomb.
Yeah, so what would you guys make out? That was the end. That was the end of the episode. The vision of what do you guys take away from that whole ordeal? The Cappy's vision of the fucking all the souls fucking in line and just waiting in this Dark Soulsian environment.
Yeah,
and then the one fucking getting lifted up and just floating in a giant mouth eating.
No, it's intense. It was like he was telling me, like we have to take out the soulmonger or whatever if you want to get your wife back.
Yeah.
Because
now you have like a visual of exactly what the fuck is going on, of the death curse, really, right? I mean,
yeah, just eating the souls one by one.
But yeah, I think that about wraps it up. It's been a good run so far. I'm looking forward to see, what the Tomb of the Nine Gods brings.
Dude, I'm pumped to get into the tomb. It's taken us, 70 episodes to get to the Tomb of Annihilation. This is great. Almost a year and a half of recording.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious. I'm interested. I do like the jungle adventures quite a bit, but it's time. It's time we go into the tomb.
You guys got alts all ready and shit? Still don't want to talk about the alts?
I got a rough sketch. Right. No, I don't want to spoil anything.
Fair enough. Just trying to get something for the listeners, that's all. But all right, let's wrap it up. Thank you all for joining us for another Behind the Screen. We'll try to get more of these out while we're still playing catch up. I'd like to get another video of something out. Maybe if we get some time.
Oh, for the patrons, yeah.
We can set up another camera now that grass time is well on its way, and I don't know. We can try to squeeze something out, pull something together.
Later, guys. Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Good night.